All right, so I just have a few questions. If there's any of them that you don't want to answer or don't feel comfortable answering, or say anything that you don't want me to put in, let me know, and I
Sounds
won't do
good.
that. All right, first question on your. How much AUT do you currently play?
Man, I think I made one video for Mero, but I don't think I've played AUT then. I really haven't played AUT a lot these days. Like after I quit testing, which was sort of an obligation for playing AUT, although it was volunteer work, we didn't get paid for that. I don't know. I just sort of stopped playing after that.
See, I'm in the exact same boat, which is why that question is on here. Because I don't boot the game up unless I'm testing it. So that's why I
Yeah.
asked. Anyways, next up is about the launch of the game. So this is, I'm asking a few hardballs. So again, if you don't want to answer it, it's fine.
Oh boy, oh boy.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right. So as a former tester, did people behind the scenes know going into launch how buggy and unfinished the game would feel, or did it seem fine and then launch and then everything fell apart?
Okay, here's what happened. This is from my perspective. I can't quite 100% remember everything, but I believe this is like 99% accurate. So basically what happened was it was the day for the release, right? All the testers were super excited. We're like, all right, this is good. This is going good. And then like 5 minutes before the release, we open up the game. Just a couple of tester friends and I open up the game just to see if it's working one last time. We click on the play button and realize, hold on, it's not teleporting us. And so we tell the developers, hey guys, it's not teleporting us. You might want to check this time. Check this little thing. It's a pretty small issue, just a tiny bit. That you can't join the game. They just went ahead and released the game and just didn't listen.
Yeah, that's kind of what I expected, but I didn't want to make any sort of assumptions with, out being there. The reason that that question is on there was because I was trying to determine how much changed since the release of the game versus now, because you weren't part of. I'm not gonna. All this is getting cut. You weren't part of the testing for the. I forget. You weren't part of the testing for the last update, the most recent one, right?
No, I quit before that.
So the reason that I brought that up was trying to figure out if anything had changed, because basically all of the testing that had gone into that update was done either the day before the update was dropped or the day
Yeah.
on the update was launched. So I reported things the day of, and I was like, I don't know if you know how much of a fucking disaster the Planet Shape request is. It's
Don't
a
tell me.
nightmare. But I reported that it couldn't be repeated, which was going to cause a lot of problems later down the line. The day of, and I forget who it was, but the person who was working on it was like, "Yeah, okay, we'll get to it." And then they released the update, and then it didn't work. And I was like,
Yeah.
"But I told you this would happen, and it still hasn't been fixed."
It happens all the time. That's probably one of the main reasons why I quit. Keep this in, by the way. Or
You want me
try
to keep? Well, I'll keep in some of that
But
if I can.
I feel like when I was a tester, you just told me that it hasn't really changed much. It's just there's a really big disconnect between the testers and the developers. It's like the developers pretend that the testers don't really exist. Like they'll listen to them, but they won't act on it whatsoever, which is what causes like I don't know all of these bugs to sort of happen. There was a couple updates, I don't remember which one, but there's one update where we found a couple bugs. We were like telling them, and then they just continued to release the update regardless. It's happened quite a few times, and I'm not gonna say their names, but one certain
Yeah, I
tester,
didn't mention anyone.
one certain
'cause I
tester a
don't think
while
that's fair.
back told me that the testing place for AUT, maybe like 2 or 3 months ago, when the new map got updated or whatever, when the new map came, the testing place was still the old map. So I don't know. The testing is just. I just really feel bad for the testers. Well, based on my experience, because it just feels like there's such a big disconnect. It's pretty ridiculous.
Some of that I feel like has changed maybe a little bit because of me, because I've just been a pushy jackass and been like, this is a problem,
no,
this is a problem,
that's
this is a
good.
problem, this is a
It's
problem,
that's
but
good.
I'm probably going to leave, so it's probably not a good thing. If
but yeah,
I'm not
closer
leaving, I'll
relation-
probably get kicked out of the video that I'm making, because it's not positive.
anything like bringing the testers in closer to talk and communicate more with each other, I think would benefit the game so much because right now it just feels like they're on opposite sides of a cliff.
Yeah,
At
I
least
hear you.
right now when I was testing.
All right. So, next was as someone who played both old universe and new universe, words, which do you feel was better and why? Do you prefer
Good
old
one.
universe or new universe?
Old Universe was pretty nostalgic, but if I'm gonna go over how fun the game actually was, I'll have to say New Universe. Because for me, Old Universe, most of the fun came from messing around with, admin stands. You saw in Old Universe, maybe you saw them, but there was a lot of admin stand trolling videos for a Universal time. That was a lot of fun for YouTubers, but for the everyday person, and for me, because I didn't have access to those admin stands, I think New Universe is an improvement.
All right, and the next one on the same vein. Most of these have to do with the whole old universe, new universe thing because I needed someone who actually played it because I didn't. Do you feel like anything was lost when they rewrote the game, and if so, what? Whether it be physical like abilities or just a feeling, that kind of thing. The answer
like
can just
old
be
universe-
no. If the answer is no, that's fine.
Old Universe was it was kind of based around nostalgia and like it was most of the scripts were from a bizarre day. Can't speak. Most of the scripts were from a bizarre day. At least that's what I was told from a lot of people. And so it was very similar to ABD or a bizarre day, which maybe some of your new viewers have no idea what that game is. If you don't know, I was the god of that game. I was goated at that game. Just wanted to say, but it's just Old Universe was more of a I don't know. I guess I could say a hangout game, place to chill. In
Yeah.
New Universe, it's much bigger intention and focus on balancing, fighting, and actual gameplay rather than the atmosphere of the game.
All right, this isn't on there, but in regards to fighting and that kind of stuff, how do you feel about the general combat of AUT? And do you think that the whole rewrite of the game was worthwhile for what, like the weight and all of that was worthwhile for what ended up being delivered?
The combat it's definitely better than Old Universe because you don't get one-shotted by anything anymore or from one move. So if we're talking about combat and equalness, New Universe is like eons better. Now as for the entire rewrite was better. Actually, let me go back to the first part. I feel like I don't know. I kind of stopped playing after Yasuo and Yon came out because I don't know. This might just be me. I feel like Roblox JoJo in general is kind of falling down on YouTube or whatever, and like people are moving more onto just anime in general. instead of just
Only I
focusing-
could get into that market. Yeah.
instead of focusing solely on JoJo. But yeah, I think since Yasuo and Yon came out, because there was quite a few bugs with those stands too, and the balance wasn't really good. And of course, the test got ignored for all of that. In fact, I have chat logs of like the co-owner completely ignored me. As for was the whole rewrite worth it? Let me say this right now, straight up. If we kept Old Universe and kept working on Old Universe, AUT would not survive in modern day Roblox. Just
Gotcha.
That's my take as someone who's played a lot of games like in their pretty much their entire life, but I don't think it would survive in modern state of Roblox whatsoever. Like ABD is gone, even like ABD modded, whatever that's called now, I forgot. That's also pretty much fallen off. Like I said, I think JoJo's in general has kind of like fallen off, and people have focused more on anime in general because even YBA now, I don't know. It's like one of the top 10 questions that scientists still can't answer that YBA still is popping
I don't
off.
get it. I don't get it. I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like I could run like a 20-hour analysis and there would still be no answer why it's doing so good. But yeah, I feel like if we kept Old Universe, there's no way it would survive in modern day Roblox. It's just not possible. So for the game's longevity, was the rewrite worth it? Yes, it was, because Old Universe, in my opinion, just would not be able to.
Gotcha. And on that same vein, I always hear a substantial amount of people that are like, Old Universe was better, yada, 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 yada. Do you think
think
those
that's just
people,
nostalgia.
you think those people are just blinded by the nostalgia?
I think so.
All right. And the last thing on here, what do you think the future looks like for AUT? Do you think there's hope, or is it kind of a lost cause?
Oh man, you're coming in real deep.
I
Oh
told you I'd
man.
hit you with the hard balls, and I
Oh
also told you you
man.
didn't
If
have
I
to
say this
answer
from
them.
Kerr and Adam are they're out for my head, dude. You're putting a bounty on my head.
Well, you know what? To make you feel a little bit better, the takeaway from my video is that I think it's a lost cause. So
Let's see.
take that for what you will.
Yeah. Let's see. Is it a lost cause or not? I think every game has potential, especially AUT, because we saw its potential on release, and like for the next week on that, and how it did good. I feel like some of the drama in AUT with like other Roblox games really sort of hurt its, how would you put it, status. You know, the drama with YBA and
Yeah.
stuff. How it got backdoored recently. I think there's still hope. I don't know how AUT is doing these days because I haven't played in like
It's got
a
like
month or two.
4,000
Like I
active
said,
players or so.
like I don't know how the community's doing.
Oh,
But
kind of clueless on
I
that
feel
front.
like if we actually listen to like players, or like more importantly, just like actually talk to the testers and, you know, focused on things when they told you what's wrong and not just ignoring it and just releasing the update, because that's happened to me like 6 times while I was testing. I think that there's still hope. It's a small sliver of hope. It's just that can the people that work on AUT grab that small sliver?
Yeah, you know, I hear you on that, and I actually just realized something that I probably should have asked earlier, which isn't really on my list of questions here. But why do you think that AUT fell off so hard? Because the game, when it came out, was like, in my video, I kind of compare it akin to like No Man's Sky and Cyberpunk, in that it got like hyped up into oblivion, and then
Yeah,
it
that's
came
my
out
fault. My
and
bad,
it
everyone.
just,
My bad.
like,
My bad.
fell off. It was just like, oh, this doesn't live up to that at all. Which, I mean, admittedly, it could not have. It was impossible. No matter what the game released like, it wouldn't have lived up to the expectations it was given. But even
That's
with
true.
those
And that's my fault.
expectations being set, the game had like over 100,000 people, and now it has 4K. Like that's brutal.
That's a 96% decrease.
So how, like, why do you think that happened?
Like I said earlier, I think JoJo in general has just sort of gone on a downward trend. Maybe JoJo hasn't, because Stone Ocean is coming soon. But I think Roblox JoJo, because if you look at anime games on the front page of Roblox these days, they aren't JoJo focused. They have, I mean, One Piece is still popping off because it's One Piece, duh. But there's a lot of games like Anime Fighting Simulator, which is like all the anime, and a lot of anime games these days just include a bunch of animes and don't just focus on one single show. So I think that has something to do with it. And I don't know, if we're comparing it to YBA right now, YBA has 11,000, which is, you know, ridiculous.
For a
seeing how
game
they
that
haven't-
hasn't had a content update in 8 months.
In 8 months, yeah. Hey, you want to make a video for the 1 year anniversary?
I don't know if we'll get there. I feel like they'll release their stupid bullshit at some point.
I mean,
Then
you
again,
never
I've been
know.
saying that for months, so maybe not.
Hey, coming soon to a YouTube channel near you. But
No, but I'm sorry. I don't want to, like, it's an interview, so I'm not supposed to be biased. So I don't want to come in here and tell you that you're wrong. But, like, you say that JoJo's fallen off, but the game had 100,000 players. So it couldn't have fallen off in that sense, at least at the time. And the game
I
fell
think
off within like
time.
2 to 3 weeks. That's not a long period of time. It's not like JoJo on the Roblox platform is going to fall off in 2 to 3
okay.
weeks.
Okay,
So do you
I
feel like,
misinterpreted.
yeah, no, it's fine. Do you feel like there's a specific reason to the game? I mean, I guess the answer to that question would be no, because you feel like JoJo fell off as a whole, which I think is acceptable.
I mean,
but-
okay. I misinterpreted. I thought you meant like, why did it go from 100K to 4K to present day now? And it's been like a couple years since AUT came out.
I meant like, why did it fall out of relevancy so quickly? Whereas like a game like YBA, like you said, well, we don't really know why it still has
It's a miracle. It's one of the
11,000 or whatever. But
7 miracles of the world. I don't know. Like I said, was super hyped up, partially because of me, which I do apologize about.
I don't think that blame falls on anyone in particular, because I think there's a lot of blame to go around, but some of it falls onto the people, just like general audiences ignoring
Yeah.
everything. And I mean, I said it a bunch in my streams before the game came out when people asked me about it. I called it a mile away, because you can see these things coming from a mile away. It's like there's no way this will live up to the hype, and even if it's decent, it's
Yeah.
still not going to be what people want it to be.
I think part of it also has to do with YouTube and like social media in general. So I was really talking it up. I was hyping it up because I was having fun playing it. You know, I'm sure other people would have fun playing it. And so I like expressed my happiness with the game, and it just sort of escalated from the comments to blah blah blah, and then it got super hyped up. And every single hyped up game, obviously over time, you know, player base falls down, it decreases, and then it stagnates. Maybe an update comes out, it peaks a little again, and then it stagnates again. Now, the question with AUT is, where is that stagnant spot? Because right now we have been on a constant downward trend.
Yeah, I think it's stagnated for the most part, which I think is overall good for the game, because if it started going below like 4,000, they'd be in trouble. But I don't know. It seems like it's been pretty steady at 2 to 4,000 players or so.
Yes, but I think many players, you know, they join the game at first, 100,000 players. Wow. A couple of days later, all right, we played it a little. And so the people that just wanted to check the game out, they dip. That's one small dip. And then the people that play the game a little bit, you know, PvP, get their, you know, one stand that they wanted, they dip and wait for the next upgrade or update, not upgrade.
Yeah.
And then we stagnate here a little bit, and then we have maybe one or two big final dip, and that's from people who have done everything they wanted to, and at this point the perfectionists have pretty much gotten everything they wanted to, like, wow, I have a full stand storage with a bunch of rare stands or whatever. And then it dips from there, and then from there,
Sorry, go ahead.
and then from there it just sort of stays still until an update comes out. A few people come back, and I feel like with games, with updates, you strive to have more people come with every update come back, basically. Because, you know, what game company wouldn't want that? It's just that AUT recently hasn't really been successful in achieving that goal, which I couldn't really tell you why. I'm not a marketing genius. I just understand crafts a little.
Obviously you are, because you hyped up the game so much that it brought in 100,000 players.
If only I had 100,000 subscribers. Subscribe now.
Right. All right. Well, one of the things that I commented on, you were talking about people, like, they get all the things that they want and then they leave. One of the things that I talked about was the kind of lack of a real progression and longevity of the game for reasons to come back, because AUT really doesn't have any reason for you to come back other than there's an update that came out.
But
which, I mean, can apply to a lot of other games as well, but it feels like it's even more potent in AUT.
Yeah, I don't know. It feels like such a big issue in AUT, and then you look at YBA that should also be struggling, but they aren't, and it's just super confusing.
Well, I think the thing about YBA, I'm going to end up just paraphrasing my video here, but I think the thing about YBA that keeps people coming back is, number one, I think combat's a big factor. You obviously don't seem to have a problem with AUT combat. I fucking hate it. I've been spoiled too much by YBA's flow of combat that anytime I get stuck in a M1 combo, I'm just like, oh, fucking kill me. But I think combat's a big one, but the other ones are that one of the bigger things that really helps out YBA is that it has a progression system, and it has the ability for people to try out different builds and change things up, whereas AUT, it's like, here's Star Platinum, it's Star Platinum. In YBA, you've got Star Platinum, but you could play Star Platinum Spin, you could play Star Platinum with Boxing, you play Star Platinum with Mon. So, like, you can swap all these things out, whereas AUT, it's just kind of flat. And obviously, just those things alone aren't going to keep people coming back, but I think you combine them all with solid combat that doesn't make it feel like a stun simulator, progression that feels like it actually matters, a game mode that involves like a bunch of people, so there's actually like a feeling of community and it's not just a game you play by yourself, and all of those things kind of blend together to make an experience that people want to come back to. Now, why they're still coming back to YBA,
It's the only
after
game.
it hasn't been updated. Probably like yeah, it's the
They
only
have a
one that
monopoly.
it's the only one that has all of those things that people don't get tired of, I guess.
That's a good point. I feel like ABD or a Bizarre Day, similar games where it's just here's a stand, use it.
You'll
I
get it.
feel
It's
like
like
that
a
style of
collect.
game.
It's like a collect simulator, but that like
Yeah.
people don't really want to play those anymore, or they
Yeah.
do, but they complete them so quickly that it's just like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah, that's what I was exactly trying to say. It's just
Yeah, I
don't-
mentioned
those
I
games
mentioned
work
that as
anymore.
well. All right.
Well, anything else?
No, I think that's about wrapped up. What was that? 20 minutes? Jesus
Oh
Christ.
boy.
That's gonna be like cut down to 3. Maybe I'll upload just the full thing of us talking after the fact. There's nothing
Behind
in
the
there that you want
scenes.
me to take out or anything, yeah?
No, I'm fine. Like, I don't really care if they all hate me. They don't. I talk to
I
them.
don't think they're gonna hate you. All right. Well, anyways, if you need me for anything, feel free to reach out, and I suppose I'll
course.
talk to you later date.
Of course, you bring in all the views Eclipse.
Featuring Eclipse.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, I'll see you. Send me the link to the YouTube video. I'm excited to see how it turns out because you're kind of a boss at making YouTube videos.
Will do. All right. Talk to you later,
See ya.
Phil.